Welcome to another episode of the Anyone But Cam Offseason podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Frankie, and sitting across the internet for me is Cam. Cam, how are you doing today?
Frankie, I don't understand why you always assume that I'm sitting. These podcasts can be stressful. I need to be walking around and just jumping all over the place. God, you just check your biases, man.
Well, I edit the podcast, so I know every movement. I can tell every movement.
It's not my chair squeaking, I swear.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, thank you all for joining us for another episode. And we'll get right into it. This week we'll start with my topic this week. And my topic that I've been thinking about recently, been on my mind over the past couple of days, is people who have impacted me in my life in different ways. And so to Cam, I posed the question, Cam, besides for your parents, who is the person or the people who have impacted you the most in your life?
All right, well, I don't know if this answer counts as cheating because it's not my parents, but it's basically the same thing because it's definitely my brother who has had the most impact on my life. He's been there my entire life pretty much, and we spent, I don't know, 80% of childhood together. It was a wild ride, as most of you have met Nick and know what that's like. It's interesting though because it's not like he impacted me by like setting that role model that I always strive to be like my brother. A lot of the times it was I see my brother and I think that's not how I want to be. And so I think that's created a really interesting dynamic between us because, there's a lot of stuff different between us. I always tried to get him to play video games and stuff as children. He always tried to get me to, I don't know, ride motorcycles and stuff, which I did that more than he played video games. It's good times. Yeah. I don't know. Who's impacted your life, Frankie? I got some other answers, but we'll let you get someone else in.
Yeah, I'll just comment on the first thing you said about thinking about like a cheating answer. I wouldn't say the cheating answer at all because it's slightly different because you're talking about a brother and I would have sisters, but I wouldn't. No offense to my sisters, but I wouldn't say they had like the most impact on me, and I don't think I've had the most impact on them either. That might just be like a gender discrepancy type thing, growing up at least. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been thinking about people in my life that have impacted me. One of them, the first one that comes to mind outside of my parents, is I had a neighbor. Her name was Jan. Jan Kittleson, Wayne Kittleson. They're an older couple that live right across the street from us. They had 3 kids, Karen, Matt, and Brian, all 3 which took turns babysitting us when we were kids. They all had pretty big impacts on my life too, but Jan specifically, I always considered her like my second mom. I don't know how many countless summer days I spent at their house, like helping her out with yard work or doing things with her different organizations. She passed away a few years ago from pancreatic cancer. A few years ago, it's probably like 7 years ago at this point, which is kind of insane. Absolutely lovely woman. Love her dearly. I think about her often to this day. She has a huge impact on my life in the way of she was just probably the nicest person I ever met, and just maybe also the most genuine person, which I guess goes hand in hand. But she taught me to be kind to others, like at all times, and loving to everyone. And she proved it with the way that she lived her life, and so that's just had a huge impact on me.
So Jan was basically your church growing up, huh?
I went to church too, but
yeah, but church just teaches you to be sad on Sunday mornings because you can't watch
yeah,
football. That's interesting. Something you made me think about when you brought that up was you may have been babysat by those people when you were growing up, but I was babysat by Brandon Bullis. That was a weird time in my life.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he was a year older than us, went to Tigard High School. Frankie doesn't know people at Tigard. Classic Frankie.
Wait, he's a year older than us and he babysat you?
Maybe 2 years. He dated, oh God, I have to go ask Logan. I don't know, some girl that was our age.
Okay.
But he always sold me and my brother Pokemon cards. Those were the days.
Nice. Yeah. Other people who had impact on my life, I think maybe number 2, I don't know, at least up there is actually Dylan. Dylan's had a huge impact on my life. I was just kind of didn't really, isn't something you don't really think about, but Dylan and I have been like really good friends since like preschool, you know. Um,
I'm sorry.
and I just think about like Dylan is someone who really helped cultivate like my love and passion for film as well. Something we kind of like grew into together. We played sports together. We did like everything together for like a long time, pretty much all the way up until like somewhat into high school. So yeah, Dylan, if you listen to this, I think you've had a really big impact on my life as well because you're an awesome dude and we share a lot of the same interests. We share those interests together. So yeah.
Dylan. Don't know if I've ever heard of him. Uh,
He went to Tigard as well.
what? Wild. He obviously didn't date anyone in our grade, though. Sorry, was that a low blow?
That's a low blow. That's a low blow.
Uh, Dylan, if you listen to this, get burned. Kind of on the same vein as that, another person that I was thinking about that had an impact on my life. I don't know how much you really knew him, Frankie, but it was Braden Quetion.
Yeah, I knew him a bit.
Yeah, at least like during elementary school. I'm realizing how weird this sounds now that I say it, but he was a total playa. So yeah, I've always kind of thought of him as like the role model of how to act when flirting, and I kind of try and channel my inner Braden when I'm trying to flirt with the ladies or maybe do a presentation and just have a flair for the dramatic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also him and his family was the main reason that I kept going skiing a lot because his dad would take us out to the mountain a whole bunch. And his dad was also coach of some of my sports teams growing up. So it's definitely, I would have grown up very differently if he wasn't a part of my life.
Yeah, I guess actually I've had this conversation with Alex a couple different times, but a big part of like how we learned about what it meant to like grow up and like have your own independent thoughts, opposed or in addition to like your parents, what their parents' values have instilled into you, is actually through people we've watched on the internet, like through YouTube primarily. To this day, even to me, sounds weird, but if I really do think about it, I did spend a lot of my formative, like middle school into high school years, going home, not really, kind of doing homework, not really doing homework, and then just playing video games and listening to people on YouTube. So I think there's actually like a lot of YouTubers who had a lot of influence on me, specifically probably any of you who old school COD YouTuber Woody's Gamertag. He had a huge impact on me. People always called him their internet dad, which like couldn't be more correct. That guy like every single Monday did mailbag Mondays, which is he just like took like viewer questions, and they're almost always like life advice questions. And he helped instill like a lot of values and gave me a lot of he through his perspective in the world and through this perspective of all the different viewers from around the world, that helped me like brighten my horizons in that way and think about a lot of different like social political issues in different ways than I had necessarily been brought up to think. And while like I didn't always agree with what he had to say, like I always respected him. And yeah, and then there are other like YouTubers like that too who've had an influence on me, but I don't know. It's a weird thing to say, but for sure Woody had a big impact on me growing up.
I want to know what my memories of YouTube are from that middle school era.
Okay, sure.
Charlie the Unicorn and Harry Potter Puppet Pals.
Yeah, classics.
It's pretty much all I ever used YouTube for back in the day.
To watch like 6 viral videos.
Yeah, I didn't really use it otherwise.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
Well, maybe it's a good thing because you're not addicted like I am to this day with the platform. So.
Yeah, no, you go home and watch YouTube. I went home and watched The Office. I think we know who won that exchange.
Yeah, you and the rest of white America. Congratulations.
Hey, I'm a cog in the machine, and don't judge me for it.
Yeah. Other like smaller influences I would say that had on me in my life are like creative influences for sure. I gotta say like I don't know, maybe it sounds this is I keep saying it sounds weird. I'm not gonna apologize. George Lucas has had a big influence on my life. He really has. He really has
Yeah,
had a huge influence on my
him
life.
bringing Jar Jar into your life is really important. I understand.
Completely, dude. No, I mean just a love of my first like love of like a fandom, or a property was Star Wars way back when, and to this day, like it's still the one I probably pay the most attention to. The one I still read books for and listen to podcasts about and all that. And then like in the same vein, David Fincher is huge influence on me. And then like the third way, I guess a more recent influence, but someone who's like touched me in a lot of like an emotional way is Masaki Yuasa, who is the creative director behind Ping Pong the animation and a few other shows I really enjoy, including Devilman Crybaby. Um, but in like a creative way and like viewing looking at things like competition in different ways and like the internal struggles that people have emphasized through competition. I think that's been super like eye opening to me. So yeah, I give a lot to like those kind of creative influences as well.
So you're really into those animes where they show girls sticking their butt up before track meet, very graphically, huh?
I mean, yeah, that show is inherently like overtly sexual, but like everything about it is like overtly ridiculous. Like everything about it is over the top.
It's the only thing I remember from the first episode, because you know what I
That
paid
you don't remember
attention
like the last like the transformation scene at the end?
to. I was kind of disinterested at that point.
Well, okay. I'll just say one last influence me. I said a lot of influence on me, and people in this friend group have noticed it at least years ago. Was Bobby Scar from the Smash Melee community has actually had a huge influence on me in the way of just being more sure of myself and being unapologetic about the things that I like. Something he says all the time on his the show that he's doing right now called The Reeds with Scar and Toph is he says that it's cool to care. And I take that to heart. No, it's cool to care. And I love that he says that. And yeah, he said, yeah, I think Bobby Scar, this random 32-year-old guy in NorCal, has also had a big impact on me as well.
Is Scar his real last name?
So his name is Robert, right, or Bobby. His birth last name is Scarduzio. When he married his wife Sophie, they combined their last names. So she was Sophie Newman. Now they are Sophie and Bobby Scar Newman.
Why not just Scarman? Doesn't matter. Interesting.
Yeah.
How progressive of them. Keep the entirety of her last name and lose the coolest part of his last name.
Lost the Italian part of his last name. Yeah. It's interesting to me. He's actually talking about it on Twitter more recently because he has a kid now, Donato, who's adorable. And he said that like he was talking about like that decision that went into it. They didn't want to have Sophie like lose her last name completely. But he also said he like feels weird that his son doesn't have any like name connection to his last name isn't connected to either blood family.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Donato is Sophie's grandfather's name, and Donato's middle name, which I can't remember, is Scar's grandfather's name. So there is still a very much like a family thing there. But he says like if he could go back in time, he would think more heavily about just like hyphenating the last names. But overall, this was probably the best choice for them.
Yeah, because hyphenating last names takes so long to fill out on Scantron. It's not worth it.
Scantrons, yeah. You need an extra big one to fill in the little spots.
I don't even know if they have a dash symbol. God.
Yeah.
Hey Frankie, you want to know one last person that had a large impact on my life?
Does his name start with Frank and end with E?
Her name. Because this isn't really what you're expecting when you think of impact, but like, this has shaped a lot of my, I don't know, not worldview, but goals. I don't know. Avery, but only because, well, mostly because, being the first girl that I was ever really attracted to, I just kind of put a lot of stock into like everything about her. So now it's just like, that's what I'm into now. I don't know if it was like chicken or the egg situation, but like I definitely feel like a lot of my life is just formed by like being attracted to a person like that, and now it's just like, well, that's who I'm attracted to now. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
It's like, I- was I into blondes first, or was I into Avery first, and now I'm into blondes
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
slash music blondes. But it's like, you know what I'm talking about though? It's just
Well, yeah. I guess the question
that's
was like, were you originally attracted to her physically or like her personality?
I don't know. I was a
Yeah.
hormonal little teenager. Don't ask me
Yeah,
those
at the ripe
questions.
age of at the ripe age of 16, when you found out that you like girls, right?
No, this is middle school.
I'm just,
Was it? Yeah, I was in middle school because it was from middle school place, 7th grade. That's when I first talked to
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Wild. How old were we then? Jesus.
And seventh grade? Well, you're like 13 or something.
Little Camp's got issues, man.
What issues does little Cam have? Avery, is that his issue?
No, he chose to do plays.
Dude, plays are hype.
Yeah, they are. There's a school play at the school right next door where we live, and I've thought about being like, do I want to go see that? But it's Beauty and the Beast, so I don't want to do it.
What's wrong with Beauty and the Beast?
It's derivative. God. It
Of what?
Other, I don't know, princess movies. It's a movie. God. But also, it romanticizes furries, and I don't dig that. Okay. I live a strict anti-furry lifestyle.
So now you're just kink shaming. I don't appreciate this.
Some kinks are worth shaming. Gotta learn that someday, boy.
Wow. Let's move on to your topic before we get into trouble here.
Yeah, the SEC might shut us down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my topic that we have to talk about is, let's imagine that you're in the universe of Men in Black, and you find yourself one of their flashy thingies, just lying on the ground, but this one's defective. All it can do is make you forget media that you've watched.
How convenient.
Yeah, I know, right? But it's only got 4 charges. One for a TV show, one for a movie, one for a song, and one for a video game. And what you can do is decide what thing you want to forget and then flash yourself. And the question is, what would you make yourself forget? And just to go over those again, you can forget a movie, you can forget a season of a TV show. I didn't say that earlier, but just one season of it, one song, and one video game, so that way you can experience them again without knowing anything and just absorb. What do you do?
So my one question: if I forget like the first season of a multi-season show, do I also forget all the other stuff that happens after the first season? Or do I just know all the stuff that happens after the first season, but I forget the first season?
Let's say that you forget the entirety of the show, but as soon as you're done with the first season, you just remember the rest of it.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
I guess we could just
Okay.
take turns just going through one different piece of media if you have one that you want
Yeah.
to talk about first.
Oh man, I'm kind of stuck on all of these. These are all tough. I have some contenders for each of them. I guess I'll start with movie. 'Cause that's probably the easiest one I have the most ideas for. And it's between a couple different films here. So obviously the original Star Wars. I probably would go with that over Empire Strikes Back. I mean, obviously it'd be cool to get like the twist of Darth Vader's being Luke's dad. That'd be dope. But to me, like the moments of like the twin sunset, and the Death Star run, that's a little bit more I don't know, something I value a little bit stronger in terms of like seeing for the first time, I think. And then maybe my favorite movie of all time, Whiplash, is up there.
That's one I definitely thought about, just to get that last scene for the first time again.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
it's so strong. And then my next one would be Fight Club, because that was my favorite movie for a long time.
Also thought about
and
that
just
one,
like unraveling, and like really sprung my love of David Fincher. And then, two of my more favorite movies I've seen ever, and I guess in recent years too, would be both of Shane Carruth's films, so Primer and Upstream Color.
Never heard of
probably
them.
would go. I've talked about Primer. How many times when this anyone watching this, I've talked about Primer so gosh darn off so many times.
Nope.
Maybe not to you. Anyways, Primer is dope. It's awesome. I might pick that one just because to this day, Upstream Color kind of confuses me. Although I understand it to a certain extent, but it's it's meant to be confusing, or like meant to be unclear. So I'm kind of wrestling between all 5 of those, and I'm not sure what I want to pick. So maybe I'll hear from you what you were thinking.
Okay, so the only 2 that I've thought about strongly that you didn't bring up are, I mean, obviously The Dark Knight, which is easily the movie that I've seen the most in my lifetime, and just like be able to hit the refresh button on that, and I could just rewatch it over and over again, and it'd be just like the first time.
Uh-huh.
Well, like, not, it'd be like how I kept rewatching that time. And I mean, just there's so many cool scenes in that movie, like with just the opening scene with the Joker, or the double boat scene, just to not know what happened, or like the last scene with Harvey Dent on the rooftops and be able to hear that speech again for the first time.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, the one I was thinking of was Top Gun, because then you get to see Goose die again without knowing it's coming, and you'd just be heartbreaking. Oh my god.
Okay.
Goose. Yeah, that's where my head's at right now.
Top Gun. Come on.
Dude, and you get to watch the homoerotic volleyball montage?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And you get to see the scene where it's like, she lost that loving feeling. She did? Oh, I hate it when she does that. Hate it.
I gotta say, man, out of all the movies brought up, that's gotta be the weakest one so far. I'm just saying. Nothing against Top Gun, but come on.
It's better than Primer. Oh my god.
No. No. No.
Does Primer have Tom Cruise?
Primer doesn't have any formal actors.
Speaking of which, what about Tropic Thunder?
I've never seen Tropic Thunder, so
So you're already here.
I'm already
Frankie,
there.
you're missing out, man. It doesn't have Tom Cruise, I swear.
So if it's decision time here, I think I'm gonna go with Whiplash at the end of the day, 'cause I think it probably is my favorite movie, either that or Primer. And just to see Miles Teller and Melissa Benoist's relationship, all of what J.K. Simmons did, and the final scene is just so powerful. I'd probably go Whiplash just to experience that once again.
Yeah, that's definitely a good answer. I mean, I gotta go with Dark Knight. God, it's such a good movie. Wow, I get to see the pencil thing again. Oh my god. Yeah. Dude, this is the best. Okay.
Alrighty, and what's next here?
What do you want to talk about next? I don't really care.
Okay, next one I was debating the most on was I have the most answers maybe for which is only 2. But season of a TV show. I wouldn't go anything like any Survivor, Big Brother seasons, because I don't know.
Oh, that's a good answer though. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it, but I don't know, probably not. Because I can't. I mean, there are some really good seasons, but I can't think of anything that I would really like to experience over again. And then the question to me is like, I'm thinking about my favorite shows, and it's like, ooh, what about like the first season of or one of the seasons of Avatar: The Last Airbender? That'd be up there for sure. Or my other favorite TV show, and it's like, well, which season of VGHS?
Oh my!
Do I want to relive? I've been struggling because season 1 is just so short.
Yeah.
But in season 3 is just so impactful. I think I'm gonna have to go with one of the seasons of VGHS, but I'm not sure which one I'm picking.
Oh, that's a tough one, because it's like you could re-experience just like the Law being the worst human being ever in season 1, and just the beauty of that. But then season 3's actually got plot to it, I guess, and, plot twists and stuff. That you could be like, what? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's because when I first watched season 1, back then on YouTube, the production quality was insane. I was just like, what in the world am I watching? How did they do this with the
floaty bike?
What?
There's the floaty bike scene in the first episode.
Oh my god. Yeah. But it's just like how they like did like Field of Fire, like how they filmed that. I was just like, this is insane. The effects are crazy. Like back then, I was like, what in the world? Yeah, and then there's just yeah. Oh man, if only season 1 was longer. It's so tough.
Do you have any ideas though?
Yeah. Oh man, I think I'm gonna have to go with season 3 VJHS just because it was the most emotionally impactful, and like I would love like the episode where we find out about Ted's dad, and we're with Key and her parents, and Brian and Jenny show up eventually. It's like, wow, that was,
That episode's
anyways.
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many other fun moments for it too. Yeah, I have to go season 3 VJHS. That's what I'm settling on.
Okay. Final answer. I'm going a bit of a different route. And for me, it's either between Arrow season 2, which was before the show just tanked so hard. Oh my god. Or Daredevil season 3. Because there's
Season 3.
yeah. Oh my god, dude. There's this one episode. Okay. I assume you don't really care if I talk about stuff.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So the entire season, it's about like Wilson Fisk. He got arrested at the end of season 1, right? And in season 3, he like makes a deal with the FBI to like tell him about all the people that he knows about and just like get. He stays in like a hotel room as a cell instead of a prison, and it's just like throughout the season, his hotel room just goes from like just this empty room with like a table where people bring him food, and then slowly gets more and more stuff in it because he's just like slowly gaining power, and it follows Daredevil obviously, and then there's this one FBI agent who it follows too, who's the one that like originally gave Fist the deal to like start catching people. And like he's not the best guy ever, but he's a good guy and you're like kind of rooting for him. And then halfway through the season, it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna talk about it. Halfway through the season, there's this point where he realizes that Fisk is like, doing criminal things from his like new, like I guess it's kind of witness protect or no, I don't know, from his hotel room kind of base of operations because they let him out of prison. And then he goes to his boss to tell her that. And then her boss kills the one other person in the room. And it's just like, why did you do this, man? And then you just realize that all of the FBI agents there are under Fisk's, like, control. And now he is too because, like, they pinned the guy, the person that the boss just killed on the FBI agent. And he just, like, knows that there's nothing he can do about it because if he tries to like do anything he's gonna get killed or get arrested and all that. And it's just all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, this has been happening this whole season, we just didn't know it. And my mouth hit the ground after that, dude. It was wild.
Yeah, that's pretty. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah. But Arrow season 2 is just, dude, oh my god, dude, Deathstroke in that season, so good. Oh my god. So I gotta go with that. Or Teen Titans. I don't know. Arrow. Final answer.
You're going with a CW show for your answer.
Dude,
Just,
those shows are good until they start sucking. But they start out so
right.
good. Oh my god.
Dude. I mean, I used to watch Supernatural all the time. That was my jam back in the day, so.
Dude, and Arrow has the best fight scenes of any network TV show. Fight me.
All right.
At least early Arrow. Okay. Video game. Now, what are you thinking?
Obviously I can't pick Melee because I wouldn't give up the last like 5 years of following it just to play it for the first time again because like even to play it for the first time it was bad. So it's, and then my next favorite games are Okami and probably Majora's Mask. Yeah, I don't know if I'd put Chrono Trigger up there as well. It's up there. I can't think of any Final Fantasies I want to play again that badly. I don't know, I'm even sorry. The answer, like, there were some really good scenes, really good, like, side quests in Majora's Mask, especially the cafe mask quest, which is absolutely heartbreaking. If if you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. Absolutely heartbreaking, and super complex for like a children's Zelda game. But yeah, I don't know. Everything about Majora's Mask is awesome, but the ending of Okami, the Wii version, is gosh darn amazing. And I love everything about the game, the story, the characters, the music, the environments, like the art style, and the way it just cuts to black in the Wii version because of the or because of the studio disputes, and they just like literally weren't credits on the Wii version. They just cuts to black. It's like unintentionally like incredibly powerful. So yeah, I'd go with Okami.
All right, that's interesting. We all know you're a huge Okami weeb, so no surprise there. For me, it was really down to two. One of them was Ratchet and Clank 3, Up Your Arsenal. Purely because, like The Dark Knight, that's probably the game that I've played the most. I've probably played through it, like, I don't know, 10 times in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's just so much fun, and it's so funny. Oh, if I could experience all those jokes again, that'd be amazing. There's a robot called Courtney Gears, and she's basically Britney Spears, and it's awesome. But the answer I gotta go with is Infamous 2, the PS3 game, because that's one of those games where you can like pick if you want to be good and evil, right? And the evil ending was just so heartbreaking. Like, there's a whole bunch of twists and stuff in the game that are super awesome. I'd like to experience that again. But the evil ending, you have this friend named Zeke, who the whole game is like trying to make up for the bad thing he did in the first game, and is like being the best friend he possibly can, and is just trying to help you and be as good of a person as he can, being a person with no powers in a crazy area where there's a bunch of super bad people around. And if you choose the evil ending, then he like tries to stand up to stop you, even though he knows like he's going to die doing it. He's like, you, Cole, and Zeke just stand on a rooftop, and he's like, I love you, brother, and I'm gonna miss you. And he just holds up his gun, just like trying to stop him, and then you just have to it makes you push a button to zap him like 10 different times, and you see him struggling to stay up and fight you.
Oh my god.
And it's like, oh my god, why am I doing this? I hate myself. But it feels, oh my god, it was heartbreaking, dude. And I would love to do that again, just like feel that.
Yeah, that sounds nutty. I remember I once watched a YouTube video where it was like critique on the Infamous series, and he talked about the first one, and he's like, so the first one for the most part is just like straight corridors and like very obvious like setup placements for enemies, but it still somehow manages to be like completely awesome. Like it's the most generically made game I've played in a long time of this generation, but oh my god, it's so awesome. And then 2 is just like everything about the first game, but like way better.
Yeah, oh my god, 2 is. It just streamlined everything so much, and all the enemies are so cool and different and stuff. And there's so many powers. It's such a fun game. Oh my god.
Is there like a collection on the PS4 I could like buy? Is that a
No.
No? Rip.
There should be at some point. I hope to God, but
Maybe with the new generation. You never know.
PS5 should have backwards compatibility.
Is that what people are saying?
Yeah, that's the word on the street.
I mean, it makes sense.
All the way back to PS2, I think they were saying. But I don't know how accurate that is.
Alrighty, we're on to song now.
Song. Yeah. Have you been able to come up with any answers for this one, Frank?
I've thought of a few here and there, but this one's tough. My favorite Brockhampton song is called Milk. And I don't know, everything about it, it's just like weirdly like transformative and it's like experimental in the way like in like the Brockhampton way, where it's still like a bop, but it's also like heartfelt. But it's not like it's not like one of the crazy ones like Heat or Bump, and this is off Saturation 1, so like their first like real full length album. I don't really count All American Trash, but this is like the peak of Saturation 1, which is maybe like my favorite album of all time. And even though it starts off with the Mirrorverse, which sucks now, it's still it's short, and it's pretty short, and it's like to the point, and it doesn't like do anything like in the songs other lines he has in other songs where he has the line, and I think it's in Gummy, where he says, "I'm as clean as they come," and it's just like that aged well. um, but anyways, yeah, Milk is definitely up there. Another one that's up there for me is Chopin's Etude, OP 25 number 11, aka Winter's Wind. Which, if you've seen the movie Green Book, is actually played in that movie by Mahershala Ali, obviously, in the, well, I don't want to spoil it, but near the end in a bar, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. I first heard it in the anime Your Lie in April, which, honestly, thinking back, that might be this like number 2 contender for a season of a TV show I could forget, because that's only one season, 24 episodes. Actually, I might want to pick that one. I don't know, maybe. I didn't even consider anime when I was thinking about TV show. I didn't even consider anime because like Ping Pong's up there as well. Ooh, okay. Anyway, we'll stick with VGHS.
Just live with it.
But Chopin's Winter's Wind is awesome. It's such an even people who don't like classical music or piano music can like appreciate the first like at least like the first like 30 seconds of this song, because like it just starts off really nice and he just goes ham for like the longest amount of time, and like it's one of my goals to learn that on piano, you know, in 5 years down the line when I'm proficient enough to be able to do that, maybe. But that song is so awesome, and and maybe it's because of the connection to the show. I mean, it's definitely in part because of the connection to the show, but it does move me emotionally as well, as just being like just an achievement in music and composition. So it's one of the two. Probably Milk, just because I get the most use out of it. I listen to it a lot more than I listen to Winter's Wind. And Chopin has other really good songs as well, and obviously so does Brockhampton. But to me, Milk is like up there. Then get my mind going. I also put like Junkie up there. Junkie off Saturation 2. It might be my most played Brockhampton song just because it's so catchy. And I just love the verses on it so well. It has arguably the most pro-feminist verse in like the history of hip hop, which is dope. Matt Champion.
Kill all man.
No, but it's just like one big like point. It's not like, you know, it's not something like generic like you know, oh, men are trash or whatever, which is like not that that's a generic thing to say, but like it's that's kind of said without, and that's kind of said like to a lot of situations. This one is specifically targeting men like their age, while revolving around like pressuring women to do things they don't want to do. And it's just like a total call out. And it goes hard, and Matt, I love him for it. That's up there. But anyways, I'm rambling now about Brockhampton. But I'm gonna go with Milk. Although like there's probably a song off every album they've done I could pick. But yeah. Anyways, your turn.
Okay. I have just been thinking about this while I zoned out while you were talking about Brockhampton, as I always do,
cool.
Obviously. And so my first answer that I was thinking of was Flagpole Sitta by Harvey Danger.
I love that song.
It's a banger.
Absolutely.
But like, and like, it's such a fun song to listen to. But I don't know if I need to, you know, listen to it for the first time again, because I just don't know like what exactly that'll do for me. But one that I just thought of that I'm very satisfied with as an answer is Piano Man by Billy Joel.
That's up there for me. When I was brainstorming, that's one that came to mind as well.
Yeah, because I mean, just like, not only is it a great song and a banger, but it's just like, it says so much. It's just like I don't know, just the plot of it, I guess, is so cool. Just like how it just goes through the whole bar describing everyone, and how there's like so many similarities between everyone that's just hanging out in this bar, and all of a sudden he's talking about himself and just like, yeah, I shouldn't even be here too. I'm too good for this place. That's not exactly what he's saying, but he's just like, you know, everyone's trying to get somewhere, or they've already tried and failed, and so am I, kind of thing. And it's just such a cool message. And it's cool, so reflective, and it's such a banger. Even better piano song than whatever Chopin makes, obviously.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a pretty existential song in some ways. Very self-reflective.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And I don't know, I remember when I like first got into that song, I just like listened to it a couple different times, just trying to like get all the messages and like all the different people in it, and just kind of like put myself in the scene.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to do that again.
When the first time I ever heard that song was?
When?
It was, I guess it would have been the last day of junior year of high school. So I was a latecomer to this song. But it was in that old, the old SUV you used to drive.
Yeah, the Lexus.
The Lexus. On our way back from Cordoba, it was you, me, JP, and Greg. That was the first time I ever heard the song.
That was pretty recently after I got into that song. Yeah. I remember there's a report we had, or not a report, but like in Theory of Knowledge with Teschner, we had to like bring an example of art that's not like normal art to class, just kind of talk about, and that song was what I picked. And I was like, yeah, it's bang.
Yeah. So that's your pick then?
Yeah, that's definitely my pick.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so that's everything.
Yeah. If you listen to this and you want to say what your answers would be or something like that, just drop in Wu-Tang and we'll just talk when everyone else that didn't listen to the pod will have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty. Thank you all for listening to another episode of the Anyone But Cam Offseason Podcast. My name is Frankie.
I am Cam.
And we will come at you next week again, hopefully, if our school schedules permit. But until then, catch you all next time. Goodbye.
Have a nice Super Bowl. Peace.